Who are you going to choose, your best friend or your man, to fill the big spot? This is the Being Mary Jane After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes! Yes!
Off guard.
Yeah, so we're back with Arrow. Why you gotta make things so complicated, huh? Justin, we know that's you. Welcome everybody to the Being Mary Jane After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I am one of your hosts here, Howard III. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Howard III. Miss El Marie, where can we find you?
Yes, you guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at El Marie TV.
Oh, El Marie, I love that Instagram handle. I'm Ronnie Jr. You can find me at randomly RJ.
Well, thank you, Ronnie and Howard, for rejoining us.
Oh, what is that about?
Yeah.
Just
By the way, the ladies did do a really good job last week. So.
Y'all didn't see the show, right?
Do you know what's funny? No,
Why are you gonna say that when I
Swear
asked
to you.
and
No,
I
swear
know
to
you
you.
didn't
This
with
is
the
no, but
show.
swear to you. I did watch the beginning clip.
Right.
No, this is a look me right in. I swear to you, TK.
Don't be like Justin. Look at those eyes.
I wouldn't swear if it wasn't the truth. I turned on the clip and I said, I want to watch what I missed, you know, because we both were out, the gentlemen were out, and I knew the ladies would like hold it down all the way. And so I'm like, oh, let me watch it. But it was a really busy week.
Right.
You're not believing it, TK?
Right.
You're believing it.
I mean, so glad for you guys to join us.
You guys had fun while you were away.
Yeah, while we working.
I turned a whole
Not
year
only do
older.
we have babies, we be working, driving all the place, cooking, all that stuff, and then also have to do the little, you know, and then have to come and host the show.
Where do we follow you? we're having a woman empowerment moment.
You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad.
To get more of that.
You know,
I'll follow you right this second.
a little dramatic.
Comment on everyone.
Well, now that we got that off the way,
Thanks, Steven.
let's get in tonight's episode here. So we opened up with a lot, actually, with Mary Jane and Justin being in the bed, you know, having a little not deep conversation, but they were just talking a little bit. And then we see that Mary Jane go to the office and she tells Kara, I don't know if it's going to last with Justin because Justin doesn't look me in the eye when we're making love. Is that supposed to be something big? I mean, if they're supposed to be connected?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you go for.
Yeah.
One, they need to, like, why he doesn't have boobs. Like, why are they covering up so much? One, we need to see more. We need to see more Justin.
Maybe he didn't hit the gym and he's a little insecure.
Yeah, but I mean, that's okay. Justin, we out here for you. We good. But yeah, when you're in the act, there's like that moment where, you know, there's a difference between, you know, the whatever, and then the person that you like deep with. That there's that moment where it's, and then there's that connection that's like, now you're truly intertwined and your souls are connecting. And that's through the eyes.
And she wanted to know, too, because of what happened last week with, you know, being revealed to the information about her mom and her dad. So I think, like, it also was pivotal in how she acted, you know, in this type of scene as well.
Yeah.
She wants to make sure that it's an investment.
It's almost like she took control in that situation.
Yeah. She kind of did. But that, I mean, and that is a red flag, like, especially how she was like, and then he looks away. Like, he's kind of there for a moment, and then you look away, and it's like, what is that? That either you're not really comfortable with this relationship or something. There's something wrong with you if you look away. So, cause I think that's worse than looking. Well, than not looking at all, and then looking and looking away because something made you uncomfortable.
Right. Because if you have your eyes closed the whole time, then I mean,
like,
you kind of rock with that, kind of. But you're not grown then.
Are you into that, Howard?
Like looking?
Yeah.
I mean,
Because we all were like,
Like, I'm all in. I'm like, oh.
I love a good look and a cuddle. I do. I really do.
I mean, I guess it's nice.
It's not a big deal to you? Oh, no. Order me up one. I'm into it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I guess we know who won't be ordering anything. Kara and Justin, because they hate each other. Pretty much they're both trying to go for this same spot here. The Kara and MJ find out that there's a new guy coming in, Pete, who is filling in for Garrett, and they're just not happy about that. They wanted to either be Kara or Justin in that spot, but in order for one of them to get in that spot, they have to work together.
Right.
but they hate each other.
Yeah, they still hate each other. They were both throwing shots back and forth with each other. They just couldn't kind of just sit down and try to put those differences aside and come to a, an agreement to work together to get this guy out, to possibly maybe one of them have that job. And they were just going at it.
Right.
I have to say, Elmarie, the nails.
Oh, you like it?
The outfit, the hair,
my hair.
the eyebrows, and the makeup.
Right.
You just,
Hey,
you just. I mean,
I'm looking y'all.
Those lips
yeah,
are really nice. Yeah.
I mean, I worked with Elmarie often on a lot of different shows, and I don't know. Today is just, I don't usually throw out compliments like that, especially while I'm on there, So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. You work on trying to get Michael Ealy in here.
I mean, I work on trying to get him somewhere.
So they still don't like each
It was
other.
like everyone excelled at the same time. Ouch.
I was going to say something. I'm going to leave that where it's at. All right, yes, they hate each other.
So they still don't like each other. I mean, we see them. They kind
Howard's gonna request. I don't want to ever work with every time I'm on the show with TK. TK just
I only
always
want to
left
work
it.
with TK for AfterBuzz After Dark, late night.
Oh, that after dark
We need to
situation.
start that.
Well, we did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it needs ongoing.
weeks
Is that when I came on the show?
The one where we
Just
talked
about.
about all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
But we're still on track.
Just about.
But I mean, what's going on with this rivalry? Like, they both are very strong alpha people. They both want to get in there. They both think they're okay. They're the top person for Mary Jane, has their best Mary Jane instinct for her. But they just need to work together. They finally put their differences aside after writing down on a piece of paper, like, let's not talk. Let's just write it out. Let's see if this will work, and get Pete in on their team. And Pete came to, what is it, like a little dinner? It was like a little hangout session. And he was just like,
At the bar.
but listening only to Justin.
Yeah, that was so much shade.
Kind of just
kept going
dismissing.
over Kara, like, so as soon as she would say something, then it's to Justin, so you agree with that? Is that really how it's going?
Exactly.
Like, wow. But that's unfortunate as women. You
Still happens.
You have to you deal with that in the workplace. Sometimes in relationships too. It's unfortunate.
It's not good enough. I think with Kara, she just still feels like she has Mary Jane's best interest, and she's known Mary Jane longer. So that's always a thing. Because if I've known you longer, it's like I've seen all the ups and downs. I know.
And you've seen all the different boyfriends, so.
Right.
So, and you see a different angle that he probably doesn't see.
Right.
So she probably thinks she has the best interest. And then Justin, I mean, I think he thinks he has her best interest career-wise, because he's gotten her to this point, and he claims that when she got fired, he was actually trying to push her. He claims. So I think and he's technically got her to the anchor seat.
Yes, but still, I mean, we still have to all kind of agree that Kara's the one. That would be my choice. I mean, and also, like, do you really want your, significant other to be in that situation with you? Shouldn't you, like, put those types of energies in a different space?
I agree with that.
That's
But
hard,
I mean,
but then I don't know if I would want to hold you back from your dreams
Right.
for our relationship. I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's where it gets complicated.
If you all listened to the show last week, we did talk about that, and I believe we were both on Team Kara. But after Justin told the story, and everything, I was like, oh, like, because it took a lot for him to. She's probably the only person that he's admitted this to. So after he told the story, I'm like, oh, like, I mean, it's different when you because everybody has skeletons in the closet. Right. So it takes a true relationship for you to tell those skeletons, and then the person's like, I'm about to report you or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think now it's a different game. Now after you told that story for me, I'm like, oh well.
Yeah. For
Now,
both of them.
yeah.
So now on his side, he was able to kind of open up and be vulnerable, and like you just said, like, she accepted that and comforted him in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, you did what you had to do, or you did a beautiful thing. Don't feel bad about that. Don't feel guilty about that. And then they definitely had a moment. So it's going to be hard to turn around and be like, oh yeah, Kara right away for the job.
Because it felt like that before they were moving as two people, and after that, because he's dealing with all her craziness, and now she kind of knows, and now it felt like they're one. Yeah. So now it's like, well, how are you going to turn on yourself?
Ooh, TK.
Just you can at TK Trinidad. I have advice for everybody. Don't listen. No.
That was a disclaimer.
Don't know.
Yeah.
what you do with said advice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's on you.
That's gonna be tough though.
Yeah.
And then even though
yeah.
with Kara, I think she's coming around to Justin and Mary Jane's relationship, but it's like she's still, whether he admits like, oh, okay, the whole firing of Mary Jane, that it was CNN, right?
CCN, I think, or something.
Okay,
like
like
that.
a fake CNN.
Yeah.
Oh,
SCN.
okay.
Yeah.
So him,
FNC.
yeah, that was like she got fired because he was trying to push her or whatever. But for Kara, it's like, but she still lost her job. You know what I mean? So she still has this protectiveness over Mary Jane, even though it's also, I have her best interest at heart, and then it's also that friend who. It happens a lot of times. Like when you have a friend and you're in a situation, relationship, whatever, you may get over it, you may forgive that person, but your friend is like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I was there when you were crying.
Exactly.
Well, and I mean, there's a part of me that wants to think that Justin could maybe, I mean, it sounds crazy, but like sit back and say, you know what, it'd be a conflict of interest for me to be with her and to take that position.
Right.
That's what I kind of would want to happen. But I wonder if anything had to do with the fact that he is so ambitious based on what Simone's sister told him. Remember, Simone's sisters told him something along the lines of, you're always trying to achieve something to match her.
Right.
So I think in that case, that's going to push him because, like I said, I would rather him just be like, you know what, love or career, like, I don't mind taking a backseat to my woman. She's got the golden seat.
Right.
That's ideal, and that's what I would want him to do. But I guess it makes sense now that we know he's, overcome the Simone situation.
Well, for now.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know a lot about that situation, but obviously it has to do with how he moves.
Right. Oh, that's a tough one. But we do see that with Kara and just a little bit more on Kara and Justin. They're trying to get Danny out pretty much any way they can do, any possible way.
Brilliant.
Which was a great plan.
Brilliant.
Pete takes the bait and was like, listen, Danny, why don't you talk about this segment about the woman who's trying to, I guess, clean up houses in Texas?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And get
Rural,
referees.
classic
like
America or whatever they call it.
Yeah, like pretty much flip homes.
Right.
Do that thing, but for like low income refugees type of thing.
Well,
That's what came out in the interview.
Okay.
Did any of you guys foresee that?
No.
I thought something was going to happen.
After Danny introduced herself, and it was kind of like, I can't even explain it, but after Danny introduced herself, it's kind of like that exchange, like, oh, we're both on the same team, and the girl's like, ooh, clearly we're not on the same team, but I'm gonna just roll with it because I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that we're probably not on the same team.
And also with Kara pushing that story, wanting Danny to do it, I'm like, there's something here that's gonna pop up, and Danny's not gonna like it or be able to respond well to it. So I knew it was something. I didn't know what it was gonna be, but it was like something's gonna happen during this interview.
And that does become comforting because everything gets revealed, and we see these people who build a career off, this, type of moniker, and then at some point, when you have to continue to unveil all your layers, somebody will, throw out the compassionate side, because that's all she was really doing, was just showing truth. She wasn't like pro-liberal, this Marcy or whatever.
It's almost like Tommy Lauren on The View.
No,
Do you guys remember that?
Missed her on the video.
Yeah, so
was she
you
on
guys
the
know what Tommy Lauren is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
that's
she's
who
on
the
The View,
character-
and they were talking about, I believe it was abortion or one of those kind of hot topic issues, and she was empathetic to that, and within a few weeks she was fired from The Blaze. But now she's working with Fox.
Oh.
Yeah, she got a job with Fox.
Taking Megyn Kelly's spot.
Well, a lot of shifting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well.
Yeah, because in that Tommy Lauren, they sit behind this certain thing. That's like what they're going to push. And then once it gets opened up on a human level, it falls, Like I said, I always get really about this subject because I lost a particular on radio job due to this whole, we're going to use Ronnie as liberal, big city dude. And then once America turned into what this new America is, January 20th, I lost my job. And the new moniker of that said radio station, which I always tell you guys I don't like, they said...
Are they in LA?
They're, no. LA wouldn't put up with that. They were small town. They were small town, and the moniker that I had to lose my job within the same day, granted I hated that job, was we're gonna make radio great again. So it's pandering to that whole situation. So when I see all this, it just reminds me of how I would always see people unveil their truths. But they felt comfortable because they thought they were talking to the same people.
Right.
So it's just complicated and it's nasty, but it is true to watch. So.
Yeah, complicated, and the layers, because it's so funny, because when Danny went to Mary Jane and they were like, oh, well, you didn't read in the file, which speaks to today's society, myself included, thus the email too that just happened. We just are glossing over everything, and we're just reading tweets and seeing headlines and all this other stuff. And if she had taken the time, which a lot of us don't, to read the file, then, but it didn't really matter on, well, Twitter did turn back on her, but it didn't really matter on her side because apparently she has some type of clout, and she got him fired. But it's just kind of like, well, Twitter privilege. When you have those numbers and that blue check mark, that is a whole nother beast.
And that is so sad that that is a beast, though.
Yeah, it's so sad that now you pay for it.
I was gonna say, you can pay for it.
Well, pay for the validity?
For the blue?
You can play for the blue, you can play for
the
your followers.
followers,
Wow.
Yeah, look at anybody who has like 10 point.
But if
If you look at anybody who has like 11.7 or whatever followers, and they only have 200 people who like it.
But and beyond that, though, that's why we see people like a Tommy Lahren flash in the pan. I mean, maybe she won't be because now I didn't know about that Fox information, but we see it because, you know, that's all they're doing is, you know, big numbers or whatever. But can you stand the test of time in this industry and the viewpoints that you have?
Right.
That's the hard question.
And it was also like an issue Kara had with her, and just being her, Danny being entitled, and also like the whole millennial thing, like you just don't feel like you have to work.
Right.
Yeah.
And thinking like little things that you do, like, oh, well, I've been doing this since I was 11, being online and things like that. Like, I've paid my dues, I have this many likes. Like, oh, that's paying your dues?
Like,
in
and how
this
is
industry?
and how's that validity if someone that
just a
doesn't know
like,
you, who's like bullshit, you know, fucking their sister. Sorry, I'm getting a little. Ouch.
We didn't have to be ready.
I'm sorry. That really did just happen.
Say your Instagram. Yeah, we know that.
They'll do the AfterBuzz disclaimer.
Yeah.
But I forgot what I was saying now.
Views expressed herein are those of the host only.
There we go.
Guilty as charged.
Just totally entitled, and like you really haven't put in work because she wanted to pick. Oh, I don't want to do that story. I don't want. You aren't the anchor of the show. Like what work have you put in to have this privilege to say you're not going to do this and not going to do that? And that's what kind of ignited the Kara being like, okay, we have to set her up into this story.
Yeah. Well, it's just with everything, not even beyond the industry. Like if you look at people who are like YouTubers now and Instagram models and all this other stuff, even though it looks like, okay, they're just taking pictures, for you to take those pictures on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, and work at the craft, that's not just a flash by night type thing. Same thing with the YouTubers. Not only do they have to film it, they have to edit it, they have to do all this other stuff. So now for somebody to say, oh, well, these YouTubers are making so much money, I'm going to do it. That takes time to build on their
job.
another
It's
job.
also very emotional to do that type of project from your home. You know, like that's in itself is a very.
You're opening yourself to a whole bunch of like comments and all this other stuff, and you have to have thick skin in order to kind of process that, and it's a whole bunch of things. So it's just kind of like there are some people who are workers and they get after it, and then they see the people who are on top or making it, and they're like, oh well, they can do that, or they haven't been doing it for that long, so I can do it too. It's like, no.
And maybe that's why that Danny character doesn't feel the way like we would all feel. Like if we made a situation where we made such a huge mistake like that, I think we would feel it. Like remember how she got called out by Kara and Mary Jane. But these people now, it makes sense now. She's an 11-year-old girl and she's been constantly being validated by all these fools. So she's very okay with being like, it doesn't really matter what they say, you know. And that's the detriment, you know.
Well, I mean, I think everybody has those life experiences. Is what you choose, what you do with it. If you learn from it, or if you keep on moving. So it's just kind of like it just doesn't seem, she's so far out there that it doesn't look like she's ever going to learn from it until something traumatic happens. Hopefully, I mean,
I could only hope.
Character, but you know,
I could hope something good does happen with her eventually, but it doesn't seem like now.
They talk about the hurricane.
She even tried to when she did show some little compassion right there. All her Twitter fans turned on her.
Oh yeah.
And then so now she's really mad because she's like, I'm losing my fan base.
Oh, they're still gonna follow.
That's exactly like you said, the Tommy Lahren. That almost is like plot by plot storyline. You know, because Charlemagne used to always call it Tommy Lahren, like it's going to end. Like
I love me some Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, but the thing too with Twitter is that she's not gonna lose followers. It's just now that they're not, some of them are not adoring her anymore. Right. And now they seek, it's well, that's.
When you get that type of fan base, you have to say what they want. Like that's what you're signing up for, which
but
is
it's, I don't know if I want to say it's the American kind of thing, but what happens is we build people up and we put them on the pedestal, and they can't be on the pedestal forever. No. That's just the nature of it all. So, you know, you find one little thing that you dislike and then everybody else dislikes, and then that's how it all goes. So she's just kind of experiencing a little downhill trend. She's good. Yeah.
Goodbye, Danny.
Oh my.
See you, Danny. But let's see somebody who is going to be staying around, or hopefully, Patrick and this whole father, daddy trying to stay. His whole Frank is now his dad, and all this stuff with Patrick. Traumatic. It is very traumatic, but I just want to talk about a little bit of him and this mentoring of Jevon, which I didn't see coming out. Jevon was pretty much, we found out in this episode he was gay, or he is gay, but he kept it from Patrick. And he did all of this pretty much shaming of the last Black Lives Matters guy, because I think it was something, inside, of course. There's always something going on in there. But he was like, you still gonna like me? You still gotta pick me up for the ride? And Patrick's like, listen, like, I don't care what you do. You don't have no reason to turn around.
I care more because I know more of you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it helped him realize the situation with Paul. Like, here is this guy who is his natural father, his biological father, wants to turn his back on him. Whereas Patrick has this man who took him in.
Despite
everything. Yeah. That was not his blood. He knew it from the beginning. That was not his blood, and still took him in. So I think it made him realize what he had and the blessing that he had in Paul. And then to be able to kind of reach out, like, you don't have that. I had it, so maybe let me pass this on to you in that way. Like, I can take you in as a father figure. I'm not, your biological father, but I can take you in that way and help you and show you, like,
some understanding.
Yeah,
he's seen
right
the
way
best
to go.
do it by
exactly.
His,
teach him to be comfortable in who he is.
Right.
So,
because some parents, once you turn 18, you out. Like,
you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's coming back at, what was he, like 37, 40? He's crazy.
Like,
didn't we say
he's
he was
over 40?
Because
She's older than Mary Jane. Mary Jane's 40.
And then the grandkids.
Right. Like Niecy said,
come back.
he took in everybody.
Yeah,
like, not only you, but then your kids. And then after that, your grandkids.
Yeah.
Like,
2 of them.
And didn't complain.
Right.
Much.
It was good to see from Pat, and he almost like needs something like this at this moment, because we didn't know if he was gonna fall off the rails with the drinking. Specifically, like, I mean, I even get like a little shaky just thinking about it. Like, my own situation of like coming out took forever. Like, it was the hardest thing. So like, for me personally, like, I'm literally shaking a little. It reminds me of like how I would feel back in those days, which would be like, I would say stuff like, "But you still like me?" Like, and it's just so like I could tear up just thinking about, like, it wasn't a big narrative, but it is such a truth where you come from a certain situation where you just don't feel like this could ever be your life, regardless of you feel it. Because I think Jevon said, I felt it, but it doesn't mean I was able to ever accept it.
Exactly.
And that comment really, like, a smidge choked me up by him saying, "But why would you still want to talk to me? Because you in your mind almost have wrote an entire three novel catalog of just like how your life will change. No one's gonna ever be able to see you in that way, but that's all internal." So to say that that's a good Mary Jane storyline, gosh, I was into it. Because again, I mean, I'm okay with the Ty character throwing in sort of a stereotype of the gay man, but to have a more open
conversation.
It's the reason we love this show,
Right.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Let me say, Mary Jane, damn, her body's banging.
She's looking cuter each as we go, right?
This girl puts on you need to follow her on Instagram, dude. Like, the workouts that she puts in is like crazy. Like, you could see the hard work, you see it pay off, but when you see the dresses and the form,
Yeah.
That best scene was the one. Was she in the lingerie at the door?
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Last week, whenever that was.
It was a couple weeks ago, but
see why so you see her in lingerie and we can appreciate the body, but like, what, Justin, like, dude, can we get a shot? Like,
okay, so
he's on a break, I think, or something. He does need to work out a little bit, because at first I was like, oh yeah, back sexy. Okay, maybe not that much of a sexy back. So he needs to. Yeah, so that's probably why we don't see him. Like
what body part?
Are you trying to tell me, Michael? You trying to tell me that you would tell Michael Ealy that he needs to work out?
Me? Would I do it? No.
This show is too real. He's like, no, come on in.
He's like, right here, so right now, I'm like, oh yeah.
I did take notice, like, I had never seen his hands be so gigantic, so that was a little bit of a thing that I was like, oh.
But
now I see why everyone's
and that might be why
one more show.
But that's why we don't see like the full body. He's like I don't know.
He's
not
not
ready
ready yet.
He's not in the gym right
But
now.
but that's a
Can
good
he
thing.
call the shots though? I mean,
As the actor?
What do you mean?
yeah. Let me preface this. So for you guys who don't know, I work on TMZ, and we were talking about that, like how some actors are talking about like they don't want to come back or this and that, but they're not. They don't run the show. So they told Michael like, look, you need to go down your skivvies. Then you need to go down your skivvies.
Yeah, they're doing it on Insecure quite a bit.
Oh my gosh, Insecure.
That
you
finale
haven't seen
was
that show.
That finale was pretty good.
Finale. Go to like 3 episodes back when he and
What, you're talking about Dro and
hits
Molly?
the eye. Yo.
Oh, I wish I was on that panel for that episode. But
Yes.
Oh, with the shaft.
Yeah.
the face.
Why you do that?
So terrible.
Did you see the picture? Speaking of Charlemagne, what he posted? He posted the Fetty Wap eye.
I'm done.
Lord, so
Did you watch it, Howard?
I saw it.
Oh, okay.
You know I watch my Insecure. But speaking of Insecure,
Oh, can I make one quick thing about that though?
yeah.
Just because it's important. So let's say he's not gym ready, body ready. What would be the harm in showing a man that we've all found attractive on some level be a little bit more? I don't know what the word for
But I mean,
man.
They actually should show it.
That's what I'm saying, like,
I'm saying like it might be him. Like I don't know. Maybe he doesn't, or it could be them as well too. Like you're not really to the standard of what a man, kind of like the sexy man, should look like of your.
That's what he's
image.
because he's older. He has a career. Like these are all great attributes. So
No, they should because
I
they'll
think
show
they
a
should.
woman in her. Like
Gabrielle's like
herself.
40, right?
yeah, but
She's
she's
44.
different. Like she's really working at it. But there'll be other like sitcoms or shows where they'll show the woman like she may be a little uncomfortable or insecure, but they'll show her and show her body.
And
Right,
especially
whatever,
since
but
on
they don't
most
do it with the men.
programs, it's always going to be a very beautiful woman, and the guy could be big. Wait, oh no,
No,
that walks into the same
Leah Dunham from Girls, she did it.
every episode.
And you saw the bush and everything. God damn.
I know when she was in class, like
Yeah.
that was terrible. I mean, it was a good show. I love the show though.
so
Point is, Michael Ealy, take your clothes off.
We found every which way to make that happen. Just noticed that. This is terrible.
Take him off, Michael. So we also see that Niecy is stepping up into this being this young lady, very independent, very
it.
level-headed. She's on her way to work, open up the shop and everything, bright and early. She gets a call from her boss saying, "Listen, what's going on with this little
Baby
car
carriage.
seat? Yeah, the car seat business, because my homegirl is still waiting on her car seat." So Niece is getting chewed out from her boss about some business that she put on her best friend onto.
Not her best friend.
Oh, I guess the
baby's
other baby
mother's.
Yeah.
The other mother. Yes.
Don't people.
Yeah, wait, how
That's
they?
true.
Because
They share
her,
baby
one of
daddy?
them-
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
baby daddy. They have the same
totally
father.
missed that.
And so it was a good idea on her end.
Yeah,
Like you want the
Like,
chemistry
let's try
and
to
the,
work together. Okay.
Yeah, but apparently the other baby mama wasn't feeling it, because not only did she miss dropping off the car seat, she has a whole different man watching Niecy's kids.
That is wrong.
So wrong
On
on so
many
so
levels.
many
Doesn't know this man.
levels.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And she has
And
a
she has a daughter, yeah.
Like I mean, the son, obviously, but the daughter is.
No,
That's
doesn't make it
that's
okay
touchy,
that
like-
he's in child
No.
classes.
No,
or,
not
he's
at all.
Studying to be a
wait,
Not at
without
all.
communication?
Yes,
no, like
that's
how,
the problem.
Not at all.
yeah, that needs
Right.
to be addressed.
'Cause
Like,
what you
I
sh-
have to sign off on that.
Yeah. What she should have done is like, look, this car business is going really well. I need some more time. This guy, whatever his name is, he's in it. Like, let's interview him. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Because then then everybody's winning. But and then it's like you definitely knew she didn't get it because she's like, oh well, Jevon or whatever, he wanted to hang out some more, so I just hung out with him. I'm like, what?
Right, you
You're
had
supposed
a
to be watching the
responsibility.
kids.
Like
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
only that, like watching the kids, and also I felt like
Drop
that
off.
was in reference to the car seat
Yeah.
drop off.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you just abandon that because a dude wants to hang out with you.
Yeah, she got digmatized.
What was the other word you told the girl, the guest?
Digmatized?
No, you said another thing to her. It was, and you went. What
I
was
feel
it?
like it was that.
No, it was another one.
Oh, that was fun. I like her.
Yeah, that was a good. See, I watched that whole one. The day I was not here. It was very entertaining.
But yeah, so Niecy
yeah, but
pretty
that's-
much says, "Listen, girl, like this is it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have some strange, not only one but two strange men coming to the house and around my children. Like I'm done. I'm gonna get daycare." So Niecy stepped up and said, "I'm just gonna have to pay for daycare," which was a good
Daycare's
move.
Hella
Yeah.
expensive.
Exactly.
It is, yeah.
But
she's getting this together.
But
And
she's
maybe
not
hopefully
paying rent too, so that's kind of
Oh yeah.
And
kind of
she's working now,
And
and maybe she'll be able to take over the car seat business. Maybe she'll be
No,
able
I don't
to
think she
figure
has
out how
time
to
for
do
that.
that. You don't know.
She might
If the
have to
kids are
find-
in daycare and then like
Yeah, but she's
whatever
working.
her shop hours are, maybe like in between, she can figure it out.
No, she handles daycare.
I mean, if they
Maybe
come
on a weekend,
I
like a
think-
weekend thing.
I think what they might, I mean, now we're playing out a whole business for it, but what could possibly do is if they can come and pick it up. If she had a stock of them and people just come to one location and pick up the car seat, then that might work out. But it seems like she has a lot on her plate.
She does kind of have a lot going on.
Two kids, and she's working, and she's probably trying to. It just seems like she's gotten to that point where now, like, she's ready to be grown. So it's like now you're thinking about, taking care of your kids. You're thinking of eventually you're gonna move out. You're thinking about all these other, things that's like, okay, now I'm gonna do a business as well. Like,
Do you think she ever realizes her situation being a little bit more advantaged than the other baby's mother? Because remember, like Niecy was pushing her a couple episodes ago, and like the girl was like the other lady, she was like, "Oh, I can't really do much because these are all my restrictions."
Right.
So I think maybe that's another benefit to why Niecy is staying on the good path because
Yeah.
she's like, "Well, I do have a lot of great things."
She has,
Question
she
though,
has hope.
does she know about Patrick and the dad and all that stuff yet?
yeah,
Yeah.
And she's just reacting still positively.
Yeah, she
Wow,
kind of
that's-
she got into Patrick, like, you need to get over this, like, because she was like, when he came in, when Paul came in to offer them breakfast, and she's like, "Oh no, Grandpa, I'm okay," and Patrick is like, "You're still calling him that," and she's like, "Well, what else would I call him?" And then that was the whole thing when it's like he took in you, us, and my kids.
He is so
you know?
fantastic.
So,
Yeah. Well, gosh, I guess that artist in New York in the studio apartment
Yeah,
really
he
changed
put
everything for
some in us.
Niecy. Yep, that was all the inspiration.
I kind of
Some
want to see
extra.
him again. You think they might bring him back like just a dad?
I don't know.
They really
how
I don't know.
much
I
that-
don't know. He did something really well.
There's no been text,
Leave it at
there's
that.
Nothing.
He might come in and then reverse it, like, I don't know.
Yeah, she's on a good path now.
Yeah, it's just,
Let me see a text from him.
The only way we could
Little
work him in,
message.
I thought of it. We could work in Aaliyah with him, maybe. I mean, maybe that would be the only way.
The artist and Aaliyah.
No, Aaliyah and that artist. Yeah, that would be the only way to kind of work in the storyline. No, I mean, he said he wanted to see.
How
But
would
I
you
know-
bring the artist with Aaliyah though?
You just said you wanted to see him in
but
the
I
thing.
want to see him like through text, like, "Hey, boo, I miss you."
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted him on the series or whatever,
Oh,
and I was
no,
like,
he
oh,
doesn't need to
maybe
be
they
a
could hook up.
permanent.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
okay. That was it. I was just trying to push,
That would be
trying to push for
messy.
your request.
Yeah, that's why I said he
Very
doesn't need to come
messy. I
back.
was
See,
like,
that would
yeah,
be messy,
yeah,
and
we
then
don't
Niecy
need
would
that.
find out, and then now she's she's going backwards.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we
no,
don't need
she's
that.
doing well. Let's leave him where he is.
We'll leave him right there. Somebody who should have been left in the corner was supposed to be Simone's sister. Can we get into this for a little bit? Tiffany. Tiffany was reaching out to MJ and saying, "Listen, I want Justin to donate all of the money. Not donate, but
Keep the money because he wants to donate.
Right, all $30 million he wants to donate." But Tiffany's like, no, keep it. So she reaches out to MJ, and MJ does a little sneak attack thing and brings Tiffany along to the dinner that MJ is having with Justin. Why would she do this?
I was so upset with her at first. I will, reveal, unravel, and get to why I let that go. I wasn't upset anymore. But at first, it was like, Mary Jane, did you not learn anything? Like, he came back. You guys both said you're going to put the past in the past. Let's move forward. All your little sneaky ways, or you just always trying to fix something or sabotage
look for,
whatever.
look
for
for
something.
the red flag.
Stop it. You know what I mean? Like, let it be. He said he didn't want to talk about it. Let it be. That's how I felt
Right.
at first.
But it's hard for somebody like her.
Clearly. Like,
Like you have to why can't you talk about it? Because I feel like she's sometimes in those type of relationships, she's like word vomit. She'll just everything, everything, almost everything. So like with him, it's like, oh, you're holding back. It feels like you're holding back like 60%. Like why are you holding back? What's the deal? Like I just told you, everything about my day, and you can't even tell me.
She wants to know everything. She wants to assess. It's the control that she's definitely seeking.
But then in the end, I feel like it worked out for both of them. It was better for both of them because then it forced him to open up and tell those stories and things like that. Because then it became well, why haven't you touched the money? Why do you want to just donate all of it? Why can't you do something? And then it clicked to her, and I still was kind of confused about it. So you brought light to that. Like, he hasn't touched that money at all. So to go into it is like, it's maybe closure for him, or now once we found out the story of everything that happened, that, he kind of felt like Simone was weak and she didn't really fight off the cancer.
That
to
was
me,
rough,
that was very
was
rough.
tough.
That was a tough scene. And then to me, after the fact, finding that out that he helped her to end it, giving her more medicine, and then she left him that money, seemed like that was a payout almost. You know what I mean? Like, here you go, here's for doing that. And he may think of it that way too. Like, I don't want to touch that money.
Yeah, because it's probably in his mind. He's thinking that he killed her.
Yeah,
Right.
And
exactly.
if she had
dirty
fought,
money.
she might still be here. And,
If she wasn't as weak,
Right,
yeah.
And then he's at the hand. He can't talk to anybody about
Right.
that.
Right.
That hence shows why he's been so
Yeah,
guarded, or one of the reasons.
Yeah, one of
you
the
know?
reasons. But that'll definitely keep you all, closed up.
And the sister does not know any of this.
No.
Oh no! The sister can go one of two ways. The sister can claim that you killed my sister,
Yeah.
even though the sister admitted to Mary Jane's like, oh well, she wasn't a saint. She had problems and she was flawed just like everybody else. But still, like, wait a minute, you did what?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. It's not gonna work. So.
And it was fantastic because he's just the type that would not have been able to get that off his chest. I mean, it was a very hard. It had to be almost like journalistically pride, too. So.
And I feel like it was. I don't remember right now, but there was another moment where it was like that with Mary Jane. Like, why are you doing this? And then it turned out like, oh, okay, well, if she didn't do A, we wouldn't have gotten to B. So it's like, you were so mad at her in the second, but it works out for her in the end sometimes. I almost say most of the time. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Lately, it actually kind of has been working out for her.
Well, and that's the problem though, because it's like you're saying, it's the good and the bad part is like she's so driven in whatever is in her way or what's in front of her is that she could that works this time, but next time it might drive him away.
Yeah.
I just think it was like really enlightening, all the stuff that she went through last week, because I guess when you get to that situation where you're almost at your rock bottom, even though it wasn't her, but it was her family and all that information was unveiled, she can't but say, I'm going to make my decisions. I'm going to go hard with them, you know, and other times she has been more wishy-washy.
Yeah.
It seems like with that situation though, it seems so neat. Like neat, messy. Like, okay, the mom found, Paul found out. Okay, now that's not your father. Okay,
we're all over it.
No, not we. Like Mary Jane seemed like she adapted quickly, and it's just like okay. And then Niecy adapt like you.
Well, maybe it's one of those things where people aren't addressing the real feelings, and so then that'll eat them up eventually. Like it could be one of those things.
It just seemed like
you mean
it
as
seems like you would question it more. Nobody wants. Well, one, you don't want to think of your parents doing it, so that's all one thing. But now, you're not like your mom was like.
Yeah, especially for Patrick. I mean, they show him dealing with it, and then not,
right,
and stopped calling Paul his dad and things like that. But you would think it would be more dramatic.
But somebody that you put on
over 40.
Yeah, somebody you put on a pedestal. Like it's not even a pedestal. It's your parents.
Yeah.
So like you're used to she was there. She cooked. She cleaned. She did all the motherly things. She was sick. So you saw her in her weakest moment, and then everybody kind of took care of her. And when you see somebody in their weakest moment, you almost kind of that saintish type thing. And then all these years, you come and find out that she was kind of like a hoe, which is, again, I know people, I know.
Your faces are so good.
People are not one dimensional, but it's just kind of like, you don't want to, I don't want to, Mom, I don't want to know. Yeah. I just want to think as you, what you did. So,
and they really haven't shown too much of Patrick and Helen kind of having that sit down and you kept that from me.
It just feels like it was just too it was just too clean. Okay, here's the mess. Oh, now it's all gone.
I know, and how would she react with Patrick? I feel like she needs a healthy breakdown. She's been almost when she talks with everyone, she kind of justifies it. Or
I was gonna say, and I was gonna say probably the same way she broke it to Frank.
And I feel like she needs to do the opposite. She needs to be like, you know what?
Definitely.
I haven't even sat in my own feelings to understand. I did a lot of people's shit. You know.
Yeah.
I think because she kind of got away with it because
he's so good. Because
Paul was so good to her, and she didn't really. I guess there was no consequences for what she did, so she never really felt anything in that moment until now.
Yeah,
but it's so far away, even though that's still his father. He's over 40. That's his whole life has changed. But for her, it's
Yeah,
You
pretty
know?
pretty
That
girl
was
syndrome.
a while ago.
Yeah, you get put on the pedestal, and you're like, your ish don't stink, and then you just keep on going in life, and what
Catches
she
up
like
with
50,
you.
Yeah,
she
you're
50 or
never
60
held
or-
accountable for
never held
anything.
accountable. Now she doesn't even realize it.
Right, and she literally said last episode, what she say? Like, well, I knew I knew Paul fancied me.
Yeah.
I mean, she literally said like, I maneuvered what I could. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what you do when you
She
cute.
she just had no feeling, no emotion.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
you get to get away with things. So.
Well,
we know all about it. We're so good looking group up here.
can't argue with that one. So,
That's why you weren't here last week.
so we also see that. Whatever, TK. We also see that MJ, while she's having pretty much game night with Aaliyah and Ty, she gets a phone call. And it is none other than Garrett. It's 10 o'clock at night. They're, having a good time, drinking. MJ takes the phone call, and Garrett basically says, listen, I'm sorry about you
Screwing you over.
not getting your prime time because that fell through the cracks. I mean, Pete already took that and ran off with it, gave it to Oprah, so that's gone. But Garrett says, I have something better for you. I want you to choose who will take my spot. Either your best friend, Kara, or your man, Justin. You have a say. Who do we think she's going to choose?
Well, here's the thing, though. She has a say to the table.
Okay.
If I would wait to see what the whole table says.
And go
because
with the table.
if the majority of the table is saying Justin, and then she says Kara, it doesn't really matter.
It's like an episode of Big Brother. You got to vote with the
Right.
house.
So it's kind of like that's how they make it seem. How obviously the commercial makes it seem like she's the final say, but in real life it's like
It's just a vote.
yeah, it's a vote, and I know depending on how many people at the table, it doesn't really mean. I mean, she could probably fight for one more than the other,
Right.
but at the end of the day, if 5 people are saying no, we can.
But who's she gonna fight for? The girl who's been holding her down, or her man that
Well,
she loves?
I mean, I guess we're all
That's
saying
tough.
we want Kara, but another interesting
up
thing
until-
is
After the day, I don't know.
Exactly. He opened up. Justin opened up to NJ, told him something that he hasn't told anybody. You know what I mean? And now MJ's been with Kara, who just lost her father. So who am I going with?
Yeah.
My homegirl, my man.
It's tough now because going back now to the beginning when the whole thing with them making love and he's not looking into her eyes and like I said, like
at the end of
and
the
then,
episode,
like just
without
looking
the
directly
with
at her.
clothing
With
on.
clothes on.
That's
That is real.
yeah.
she's like, can I see
That's real.
a clavicle?
Well, I mean,
Stare me
back
down
of
with
your
your clothes
ear?
on, so I know it's real.
It's kind of it's kind of one of those things because they are talking. There's this whole movement where people are becoming born again virgins and all this other stuff, and the whole premise behind it is like, sex is a distracting thing.
It is.
It's like, okay, well, we're arguing, okay, now let's have sex. Oh, we're bored, okay, let's have sex. Where if you're not, you have to fill that time. So the fact that they can just lay there, even though you're not really supposed to have outside clothes on the bed, but whatever.
They're on the comforter.
I think you just lay there with your clothing on. Hopefully she took her shoes off. Like just looking at each other, but looking at each other deep in the eye without, that's an amazing thing because now you're present in the moment.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. It's kind of
it's
that's
tough
making her
now.
say
It's
he's
tough
the
now.
one or whatever.
digitized.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
she's digitized because he's probably putting it on her like the same day when he bent her over. It's probably the same type of stuff right there.
Question: how did Mary Jane react to the situation when Kara obviously knew, felt slighted because she was being slighted, where the gentleman constantly gave Justin,
I don't.
How did Mary Jane? And the only reason I
I
bring
think
that,
she told Mary Jane.
I don't.
oh, okay. The only reason I bring that up is because what if, like you said, at the table, everyone's making the vote. I wonder how Mary Jane would react if it became like a boys' club kind of a thing, where all the votes were going to him just because he was a man. Like, if that's sort of what we're seeing happening.
Well,
but,
a couple of things. There's a couple things. One, if everybody at the table is white and she's the only black person, there's still 2 minorities that are up for the position, which is still bigger than the small pieces, if that makes sense. Like somebody
there's a push forward.
right, yeah, somebody who doesn't look like the people at the table is going to get that position.
Right.
So either way, it's a win-win on the community sense.
Yeah.
So even if it is Justin, it's still somebody who's worked. Like, you can't deny the fact that he's worked hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And there are people that she works well with.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that, like, you know, they put in, I forgot what his name was, Peter or whatever, and
Yeah.
He was
hasn't
so
been,
pompous.
Yeah, hasn't been in the industry
He's the
for
best.
like, you know, been away from the industry for a long time. He says it's all sales and all this other stuff, and kind of feeling himself. And he might look like everybody that's at the table versus everybody else.
I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see which way she
I don't know.
goes.
Yeah, I don't know, because I kind of feel like with it's sad to say, but like with boyfriends and husbands, and I mean, you can't really. I mean, it's good for now, but what happens in 5 years?
I know. I'm torn with that because I feel like it's like right. You should probably go with your friend more than likely. Like she's gonna be there, but then at the same time, it's like this one seems like it's going so well for Mary Jane.
Right.
This one seems so real, and it's like could that mess it up?
But even so, yes.
if you go against him.
True, but yeah. But even so, like I said, at some point, doesn't Mary Jane or Justin realize that like
They can't work together.
this might not be like we just got to a good place. Like I guess in my life, I would probably choose more relationship than that thing, because you
Than
could
the
always get
career
your.
at that
I mean, I don't want to say you could always get your career up, but you can. Like love is a very interesting thing. So why don't we make the smarter decision? Why would we want to put more pressure on this? And that would be a decision I'd want to make if I didn't have a backup. Like not saying Kara's the backup, but you already have somebody who this could be fantastic for all of us. We found love. Kara's in the corner. Everyone is happy in that situation.
And like you said, it won't add pressure to their relationship.
Yeah, conflict of interest or whatnot, you know?
Well, let's get a little bit into predictions, because next week is going to be the season finale. Looks juicy. We figure out who Mary Jane picks. We figure out what's going on with the parents. Let's get a little bit into that.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Giving those hands.
One thing, what you predicting? What
Oh
you
man,
seeing?
well we saw Mary Jane with the whole baby situation, and it's a kind of a crucial point for her. I was kind of thinking about this the other day too, especially women who kind of put their career first, or they've been just grinding so hard. It's like, oh dang, like. So I that's gonna be a tough situation, because the thing is, how many anchors do you see that are pregnant?
Exactly.
So
Just
you
the
know,
weather woman.
yeah. So
That's all I see. Weather woman, you main anchor, you not getting pregnant. Weather women, get pregnant.
unless they're covering it with the table and we don't see, but you don't really see. And then with that, you have to take some time off at least. So that's kind of a telling sign as far as which way. And I don't know, I think we discussed this. I think me and you discussed it because we were here last week. I think we discussed. I don't know. Justin's ready for a kid.
For a kid, yeah.
Like I don't even think they had that conversation. Like I think you have to have those conversations.
I would say definitely, like maybe now he can start to move in that direction.
Right.
But since he revealed that, I would say he definitely was not ready.
Right.
Like,
But then there's so many things.
Emotionally and
Like he doesn't look like he's religious or spiritual, and it looks like Mary Jane has had some of that spiritual upbringing, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
The kids is another thing. Is he moving it? Like there's just so many kind of pieces that are going on with that, and it felt before this episode that I just kind of felt like she was gonna screw it up anyway, and I felt like he wasn't right for her. But after this episode, I'm like, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She needs a win.
She does.
I mean, for
So,
women out
like,
there,
come
like
on,
especially in
yeah.
LA, god damn, the dating situation is terrible. I mean,
So
just
bad.
she needs that win.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a prediction, but whatever.
That was a good point of view too.
RJ? Prediction
What the
next
heck
week.
do I think is gonna happen? I don't know. My biggest hope is just more for all of them to have that conversation that Kara is the right person for this. There's, as you were saying, so many layers we don't know about him yet, and I really want that to be the focus. I think maybe something will be unique within the family, because another idea is that they all kind of kumbaya it so far, so somebody may fall off. I think the obvious ones I thought was Patrick would go back to drinking, or Niecy would go back to being bad, but maybe there's something else that happens with the family dynamic. Or even Mary Jane, like recatching that feeling, because maybe she hasn't really
Internalized it.
Yeah, digested it fully. So maybe something along those lines. And I think that's it. I mean, it's tough because it's the finale. You just kind of don't want it to go. I ask this every week. Do we know if it's got a season 5 yet?
Most likely.
No, but
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Probably
it's
not.
because
I
it's
don't
like one of
think
the
officially,
lead
but-
shows for BET.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I don't see it.
Good.
Yeah, and then especially closing without any closure. sense. Like if they, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, like they would have to have a full series finale situation, I think. But for me, I don't really have a prediction. Just to kind of piggyback off of Mary Jane and the whole like baby situation. It does make me nervous though, because in the preview for next week, we see her at the doctor and they're like, "Oh, are you ready? Ready for what?" She's already had her eggs, extracted and frozen and things like that. So, and she asked about the sperm donor last week. So that just makes me a little nervous because I want to see her and Justin go forward. I want to see her win with a relationship, right? Because it's just hard, especially at that age for a black woman. Yet, like I just have to put it out there like that. It is, you know what I mean? We're the highest rate of single women, So I want to see her win with Justin with a relationship. The baby scene makes me nervous.
Would you question on that? Would you be okay? I kind of had this idea a couple weeks ago where, you go for your dreams and you feel like this is what I need to achieve, and she had gotten that. But if she's now found love and things go differently and she gets pregnant or whatever, would you guys be okay with like the idea that she takes a different job, something less demanding, something that still gives her the availability to do all the great things? You know what I mean? It's like that idea, like the what is it called? GDU? GDU is like what she always wanted to aspire to get.
Here's the thing.
And your dreams do change,
right? Yeah. Here's the thing, especially in minority communities. We concentrate too much on being the workers for networks or organizations, the football players for NFL, like how many owners are minorities, how many coaches are minorities. And I think with, what I'm hoping for and what I'm definitely about now is creating a legacy. So even if Mary Jane, doesn't do the anchor, why can't she, be one of the people at the table? Does she have to be on camera the whole time?
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I really hope she doesn't take a step down, but more of a boss situation where it's like because I know women who are able to juggle it.
Right.
And again,
but is that even fair for?
It's not fair, but it's kind of part of life, and I don't think Mary Jane would be the type of person who would just give it all up.
Yeah.
I think she's
I wouldn't want to see her do that anymore.
Yeah, and I don't even know, honestly. I think we had talked about this last week too. I don't know.
This has
honestly,
been a good episode, Howard.
I don't know if I don't know if she likes the idea of having a kid or actually having a kid, because I don't think it's more of the idea. It's like, okay, well, I got my career, I got a cute guy, and
it goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand.
Actually, if she's okay with Justin, she might, and they do well and their relationship lasts, she may be content with that, because also I think the push for the baby was also because you didn't have a man or something, so it was like, I need to have something, one or the other. If I'm not gonna have a man, I at least need a baby.
But what if he's gone in 5 years? Then she'd be kicking herself. It's one of those things.
But I mean, in the moment, I think you know what I mean, because I feel like she just kind of felt like there was a void. Yeah. So if half of it's filled or some of it is filled for her, then she might be content for a little while.
Or maybe have the baby and just send it to grandma wherever she is.
Listen, on that note,
do we trust grandma at
right,
this
I was about to say, grandma, the baby gonna end up with Frank somewhere.
Grandpa's safe.
Grandma had her Saint card a couple of seasons ago.
We will let grandma get the baby, but until then, I am Howard III. Listen, we appreciate you guys watching us week in, week out. Make sure you guys come back next week for the season finale. If you're new to AfterBuzz, hello. If you've been with us, what's up again? We will see you guys again later on to see our last final thoughts on the season finale next week. Last time, I am Howard III. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Howard III. Yes.
I am hopeful for Mary Jane and Justin. I'm gonna keep hope alive. I'm Elle Marie. You guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Elle Marie TV. Make sure you hit that follow button.
It is a good Instagram. Yeah, she is. Yeah,
She
very entertaining.
Was she thirst trapping on there?
No, not yet. Well, have you ever?
TK, you a hater.
I'm not.
But that we're saying that's a good thing.
Like, am I missing something? You guys need to button down a little bit lower?
Sometimes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Live your life. I love
telling
it.
you, yes.
Very, very good. I can't compete with that because my shirt is not going to be open.
Ronnie, close your shirt and where can we find you?
Randomly RJ with a fully clothed turtleneck.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just people are like, I can't. Anyways, you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad, and I have been posting different places where you can donate money, clothes, and everything else to the earthquake that happened in Mexico, all the stuff that happened in the Caribbean and in the U.S. This is a world thing, a human helping human thing. So I have all that stuff on my social media at TK Trinidad.
I love that. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.